Announcing the new generation Holdens. For 1968, an exciting new generation of Holdens. Watch the Holden Kingswood sedan. Holden, breathtakingly longer, wider, lower. Breathtakingly more handsome. The Holden Kingswood station sedan. New, fresh-flowing lines. The young, exciting shape for 68. The Holden Premier Sedan. Australia's own car, born again with youthful lines that match its pulsing new power. Holden, totally new from its W-shaped front end, its gleaming grille, and on Premier 4 headlights and its own distinctive roofline. On all models, bigger wheels. A new standard of road holding. 4 transmissions, 4 engines, right up to the new 5-litre V8. 210 horsepower under your toes. Light steering entirely redesigned. Big new dual-circuit safety brakes. And inside, all luxury. A choice of bench or bucket seats on all models. More style, more safety, more room. Deep pile carpet, air conditioning and power-operated windows if you wish. Yes, for 68, Holden's got excitement to sell. The new generation Holdens for 68 at your Holden dealer now.
Well, hello there, Elian from Unique Cars and Parts, and I'm at the Trafalgar Holden Museum, and I'm standing next to a HK Kingswood, and I can tell by the badge, so I'm cheating a little bit, but it's got a 186 motor, and this was the first model that came out with the 186?
I think the HR had a 186.
Okay.
This just followed on. But this is where we sort of get into real American styling. I think up until then we had a bit of our own influence. I think from the HK onwards it tended to be very American type design.
I agree, and progressing through the HQ, which I love, but it looked very American.
Yeah, very much so. It's interesting, this car's only got 18,000 mile on it.
18. We just come from a HD Holden that had 13, and this has got 18,000.
Yeah. She's well and truly worn, isn't it?
It's amazing it's still on the road. Now, there's a bit of a backstory to this car.
Well, the thing I've got a bit of an affection with HKs because it was one of the first, my father's new cars, he bought one of these brand new and back in 67. And I remember he went down, or him and I went down to the dealership to sort of finalise the last few dollars in it. And as Dad was placing the order, he said, "Oh, do you want automatic?" And my father said, "No, I don't want automatic. I'm not paying extra for an automatic." And the salesman said to us, "Well, there's going to come a time when you won't be able to get anything else. You'll have to have an automatic, and if you want a manual, you'll be paying more for it." And on the way home, Dad and I had a long conversation about what sort of an idiot the salesman was, because that's never going to happen. Being true sort of manual lovers, have a look at it now. You can't buy anything but. So,
well, pretty much.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult in some cars. You can't. So yeah, obviously he knew the industry a lot better than we did.
Well, I wonder, just how many people could drive a manual these days. I'm guessing it'd be 20 or 30% of the population. I don't think it'd be that high.
Well, I've got at least 2 daughters that they wouldn't know what a gear stick was for. So,
well, my wife, much to her chagrin, I've occasionally bought a manual car, and my wife's had to drive it. And yeah, I'll say she drove a manual. Although if you're the passenger, you may not agree with me. She ground the manual.
Well, my wife, she drove manuals. Yeah. I think she drives an automatic much better, but
Well, it's much. I think manuals are a much better driving experience. You feel like you're actually doing something with the car.
and you feel as though you're in control, don't you?
You do. Now, the HK was released in 67.
Yep.
Okay.
And then a year.
So, Neil, one thing about the the HK was it was the last Holden that came with a metal grille. They on the HT and so on converted to plastic grills, with an exception, and that is if it was a Premier, you kept the metal grille.
Yeah, that's right. I was just about to argue with you, but both of these are Premiers, so that's the HG and the HT, and they're both metal, but they are Premiers. So
So the Premiers kept the metal grille, but for the well, we were talking now. This is the model where we came out with the Belmont Kingswood Premier.
that's correct. Yeah,
And for the HK HT HG we had the Brougham.
that's correct. Yes.
Is there a Brougham in the museum?
Not at the moment. No.
Intentions to get one?
Oh, we're always looking for them. We hope to have our room next door, which we're going to convert in time, and we'll have specials like Brahms and Calais and the rest of them. So yeah.
Now, these were, after the success of the HR, the incredibly popular car. Were the HK as popular?
Oh, I think at the time, my personal opinion is that the Holden lost their way after the HR, and they just kept bunging out more of the same. But that's just a personal opinion. They still retained a fair amount of market share, but sort of a little bit further down the track, and when we opened it up to everybody, and that was just a death of us.
With these model cars, there's a four-letter word that we don't like to use around Holdens, but that word is RUST. It was quite common for Holdens to rust quite badly, and I remember my grandfather had an EH Holden, and he traded in on a HT, and he told me at the time, I was a very young lad, that he had to sell it. He loved the EH, but he had to sell it because it was starting to rust out. Now, he kept that in a garage, so I always sort of scratched my head and wondered why that could have rusted. Have you found any problems with rust on your cars?
We haven't, but some of them that we buy them in pretty poor condition, then they're obviously got a fair amount of rust. But in general, most of these are survivors, and they've survived because they've been treated well. And the majority of them have got very little, if any, rust in them.
Now, you mentioned earlier that the reason you've got the Premiers in the HD and HR is because it's generally those upper market models that are survivors, and I'm guessing that's why you've got the HT and HG in Premier models.
Absolutely, yeah. There's not a lot of these around in really good condition that are survivors. So generally, again, it's the Premiers that do survive.
And I'm looking over the other side. You've got another HD as well.
Another HD, yes. I bought the other one, and it's only got 40,000 mile on it. And then I had the opportunity to pick up the Premier, and I just couldn't resist.
Well, yeah. Well, that's a fine-looking automobile, but the Premier is, a step above. Well, the HK Holden was arguably, to my mind, it was the longest of the Holdens, and things just kept getting longer and larger, didn't they? It seemed like every new model Holden had to be a little bit bigger, until we got to the Commodore, of course, when they decided to go backwards. But the HK was probably most famous for ushering in a specific model that we haven't mentioned yet.
I give up.
The Monaro.
Oh, the Monaro, sorry, yes. Yeah, the HK Monaro came out midway through the run of the HK, and I think it probably revolutionised the way a lot of kids thought about motor, or young blokes thought about motoring.
Did I see a HK Monaro out the back there?
No, we've got a HT, I think it is.
HT Monaro.
It's an interesting car, that. It's white with red stripes, and the people who own it absolutely vow that that's how it came from the factory, especially a special request, which was most unusual.
Well, it sounds like we'll have to get back to get an interview on that particular car. But these HK, HG Holdens, fantastic condition. Neil, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for taking the time out, and we'll see you again soon at Unique Cars and Parts. Good on you, mate.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Now into your world, the most exciting, youthful Holdens ever built.
Stand wide, think young, feel gay. Look beautiful.
Now the good life begins with the swinging new generation Holdens.
Stand wide.
Wider, longer, lower, roomier.
Think young.
With switched-on style to turn the heads of young people of all ages.
Feel gay.
Holden, as smooth as silk, a limousine ride.
Look beautiful.
Get behind the wheel, and all you feel.
Is beautiful, is beautiful. Stand wide, think young, feel gay. Look beautiful.
The new generation Holden. Make it yours. It's the mark of the wild. The 5-liter V8. The mark of the car with more dash and drive than any car alive. 5-liter V8. A brawny brand new Holden with 210 horsepower just unleashed. V for its V8 engine. 5 for its big 5-liter capacity that gives a beef and get up and go you've never felt before. And to match its surging power, big new dual circuit safety brakes. Holden with the big V8. You feel the throb of 210 horses under your toes. And as you sweep into a curve, you feel the positive control of wide track and perfect handling. Put your brand on one.
People almost never look alike. People feel many different feelings. People wish a million different wishes, play a million different games, dream a multitude of dreams.
For people like these, people with their own sense of what they want, General Motors Holdens has engineered a revolution. Modern production tailored to individual choice. You choose it, and GMH builds it. Your car comes down the line with your name on it. So many alternatives, you can order 2 million different combinations and never get the same car. Only GMH, where the young ideas are, could do it. GMH, Australian pioneer, tuned to the new Australia, pioneering all over again, starting a whole new era of individual choice in cars.
It's yours, all yours. Make it brilliantly, individually, dashingly, distinctively, beautifully yours.
The new generation Holden. All the new look things you want. And then GMH pours on the excitement with almost unlimited combinations of custom features you can choose from. Tape players, sunshades, new stylish wheel trims, 3 kinds of air chief radios, 2 kinds of heaters, your own air conditioning unit. Make yours an individual amongst the sleek new Holdens from the first exciting mile you drive. And when you add GMH-approved Holden accessories, they come on the same easy terms and generous warranty as your car. Let your Holden dealer show you how.
Make it yours, all yours.